Hello, happy Thursday, everybody. Hope you guys are doing well. I'm excited about our projects today. I'm going to be making some tags and a card featuring the Modern Christmas Sweet Collection that's part of the new September online exclusives. And I think you're really going to fall in love with this sweet just like I have. My name is Loritamarie from Loritamarie Crafts, and I'm a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, and I love to give you fun tips and ideas and inspiration here to help you take your paper crafting supplies and then turn them into your own beautiful projects. And I also, one of my goals is to provide lots of fun ideas and opportunities for you to get creative and crafty. And so I run events and classes, and I have an event coming up. It is my launch party for all the new fun goodies that Stampin' Up! Has right now. So that's the new catalog plus the new online exclusives. And today is the very last day to sign up for this event. And I've got options for everybody. So I've got a local event here in Calgary. You can get a kit to go for anywhere in Canada, and anyone can get a tutorial with the instructions of how to make 4 cards. And I'm going to show you the cards. And it's just, the goal is to give you like a sampling of all the different products that you get to play with different things, play with the stamps, see the paper in person. And just seeing things and playing with it in person is so much fun. If you haven't tried crafting before, this is a great way to kind of just get into it and try some things out. So that is on my website, a festive catalog party, and today's the very last day to sign up. The other thing is that every month I do a Stampin' Crate class, which is one that you get the tutorial for, a video where you make kind of a more elaborate project, and you can make it on your own time, and I can send you out the kit, or you can just get the tutorial. And it features this month the traditions of Christmas sweets, and we're making this whole little like gift box, and inside we're going to make, it's right here, it's going to all dump out. A little fun little gift box where we're going to make 2 different card designs. We're going to make 3 little 3x3 cards with matching envelopes. So we don't sell the envelopes anymore, so we're going to learn how to make our own. And then I have 4 different tag ideas, and this is going to make an incredible gift, or you can use it for your own gift giving for Christmas, or you can give the whole set to somebody. So that's this month's class. I'm really excited about it. You don't want to miss this one. So this is called my September Stampin' Crate, and all these things are on my website. Hello, Cheryl. Thanks for making it live. Okay, so like I said, let's get to the modern Christmas. I got distracted for a second. I'm going to bring you down to my desk, and I'm going to show off this incredible suite of products. So this is in the online exclusive, so you're not going to find it in a catalog, but you're going to see it online, and as per usual, it never does it justice until you see it in person and get to play with it. So today my goal is to show you all the different pieces of it so that you can get a feel for it and how you can make your own projects with it. So as always, the DSP is the star of the show. So pretty. I'd love to know if you are drawn to like a black and white Christmas, or you love more traditional red and green or something non-traditional. But I really love like the elegance of this suite, and I think it would be easy to add color into it if you want to add 1 or 2 colors. But today we're just going to keep it straight up with what's in this suite. And so this has gold foil, of course. So when you're seeing this, this actually is shiny. It doesn't always show up on camera great. But I'm going to show you all the patterns. So this one has like fun little leaves and berries. This one, look at this, little ornaments. And we're going to cut these out and use these on our card today. So these could all be cut out. This one has the cute little trees, which you could fussy cut out too, or just like punch a circle out and use them on a card for something easy. I love this kind of geometric one. It's kind of hard to see the pattern, but it's got little gold details on it and stripes. Everybody loves stripes. And then the coordinating patterns on the back are just as fun. So trees. I think this is my favorite. Look at this. Fa la 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 la. So cute. Plaid. Love this one. If you did the virtual album retreat this year and you loved this paper, this is where it is. We used some of this in the virtual album retreat. And so this is where it came from. And the polka dots. Classic. Cute little squiggly lines. And then these little dots too. These were also in the virtual album retreat. So that's the paper. So you get 2 of every pattern as per usual, 12 by 12. And then the bundle. So Ornamental Christmas is what the bundle is called. And this is my favorite bundle, I think, out of everything. I've been thinking about it. What's my favorite? And it has to be this one because it's classic. It has great sentiments. It has a nice big Merry Christmas all together on one stamp. You don't have to mix and match. And so that's like a must have for me. And then it's got cute trees. That's a must have in all my Christmas crafting. And then fantastic dies that go with it. So I love this bundle. I'm obsessed with it. So let me show you everything that it does. So called Ornamental Christmas because you can make ornaments from it. So that's what we're going to focus on today a little bit. So first of all, you've got this nice big round circle. And so it can create backgrounds for things, or it can create an ornament shape, which I'll show you later on. And it also fits, the Merry Christmas fits in there. So it's got a lot of different uses. So that's the circle die. The next one is this ornament shape. So that's kind of like a fun, like vintagey ornament shape. And so this is what that looks like cut out. So cute. And then I wanted to show, because I just kind of discovered, see these cute little lines? If you look on Stampin' Up's website, there's a sample card where they've tucked it behind an ornament. But look, it also fits on this ornament shape. How cute is that? So that's perfect. So that fits there. And then I wanted to say that 'tis the season, it fits perfectly on this ornament. So that's something to keep in mind. Then you have two different tree shapes, which both obviously cut out these matching stamps. And so here's this fun one here. I've just embossed this in gold. I love it's a little whimsical, right? This one's a little cutesy. And the other one's a little more realistic. And I have this one from a card I made last week. So I'm going to show you what that looks like. So this one, I on purpose did it red and green just to show you what it looks entirely different from this black, white, and gold. But then you can see what this tree looks like, and it just cuts out in a perfect little triangle. Then we have this fabulous star, excuse me, which is cut out in gold foil. And then we've got this cute little detail piece. And so it could go across your ornament as a detail. It also punches out the little circles that you could use. I think I've got some here. You could use them as part of your ornament to create a little look there. You could put, there's different sizes, of course. Let me bring this back. So you got the largest size that would fit up on there. So that's what you could use the little dots for. Then these are the toppers for your ornaments. And it's nice when you have two, right? Because you can cut out two at once. So this is obviously black and gold to show you those. And then you've got these fun stars, and this star matches this. So you could stamp it, or you could just cut it right out. So here it is, cut right out of the foil. That's honestly easier than stamping it. So I like it in the foil. And then you get two sets of these kind of like more sparkly looking stars. What would look good on the trees is little like ornaments or a little detail on your star or on your other ornaments. So lots of fun, different ways. I think there's lots of different ways that we're going to be able to use this bundle. So much fun. And we're going to show you all the sentiments too as we get through our projects. So we're going to be using all of these pieces that I've shown you, and hopefully it gives you some ideas. All right, let's get going. First, we're going to make some tags. So we're going to make 3 different gift tags that are all kind of similar, but each will focus on a different element just to give you instant ideas of what to do. So I've gone ahead and chose 3 different patterns for our tags, and you might just want to play and see what pattern looks good with what based on how busy the background is. If you want a more black background, a more white background, if you want hints of gold. So I definitely kind of played around to find combinations that I thought looked good together. So let's start with the polka dots, and we're going to do the ornament. So I've already gone ahead and cut this out. And these are all going to be shapes that fit into the mini embossing machine as well as the full-size one, obviously. And so I've cut this out of the striped pattern, and then we're going to add the little detail. So one thing you can do, is you could add some adhesive sheets on the back before you cut it out. Anything that's fiddly like this, sometimes I'll put like adhesive sheets on the back of cardstock, you run it through, and then it makes it a sticker. And then you just have to like peel off the backing, and then it's ready to go. So I like that. So for this one, I'm going to cover up this whole top and make it look like an ornament already. So that already makes like a huge difference. And then we're just going to put this on there. But before we do that, we're going to punch our hole for our tag. And any hole punch will do. This is like the small size. I would just note that there is a pattern on the back, so you don't want it to be upside down. So I'm actually going to maybe look at this pattern while I punch my hole. Okay, so punch the hole first, and then we're going to use dimensionals and pop this up. And the fun thing about tags, of course, is that you can add a lot of dimension. So your focal point can be on dimensionals, your sentiment can be up on dimensionals. You could make these as a little like gift set for somebody. These 3 little tags. You could plan all your gift wrapping now, and now look for like black and gold wrapping paper. I always love my family, my sisters and my mom typically like will create like a theme of everything that's wrapped. So the wrapping paper all matches and the tags and the ribbons. And so I think that's fun. Okay. For the sentiments, we are going to do embossing. So I feel like with the gold on the paper, you want to step up maybe your sentiments and emboss if you can. So if you have embossing stuff, then I recommend you do it. And for this one, I'm actually going to emboss in black. So we have 2 sets of embossing powders. One is white, black, and clear. So I'm going to use the black. And then the other one, I don't have the new set yet. This is old, but it's metallic. So it is gold, silver, and copper, I believe. So there's 2 sets. And then what we're going to do, this is, I'll show you this one all the way, but the rest I've pre-done so that you don't have to watch me emboss a million times today. You need a Versamark ink pad. We are going to stamp "'Tis the Season." I'm going to stamp it on white. And this is your little embossing buddy, which just kind of helps you resist powder from going where you don't want it to go. And I'm going to open this first, actually. And this is the Embossing Editions kit, which comes with the tray, the buddy, a paintbrush to get off extra powder, and tweezers. So we'll just ink this up nice and good. Stamp it on basic white. And then I always just kind of go crazy. And then just make sure you've got good coverage and kind of lightly tap it off. And if anything seems missing, you can go back in and shake it back around. Give it a light tap. You don't want to tap it too hard, otherwise you'll knock off all your powder. I've got a spot that's sticking where I don't want it, but I'll probably just mess it up as opposed to fixing it. So I might just have to leave it. Okay. Now let's just get all this out of the way before we make a mess of powder, which is bound to happen. And you're going to need your heat tool, and we're going to set it to number 2 and watch the magic happen. I definitely have extra powder right there. And then I'm going to show you the difference between heat embossing in black and just stamping in black. See if I can pull it right up to the camera for you. And then you just want to go till it's turning shiny. Okay. So that doesn't take too long. So we have got, it looks a little shiny. It's got a rich black color. And this is it just stamped. And so if you've just got a stamp, that looks fine, right? But if you want to step it up, I really recommend heat embossing in black, especially for Christmas. I think it's going to make all the difference on your project. I love embossing. And once you learn how to do it, you'll realize that it's not that hard. It looks intimidating, but you just got to try it out. So I am going to fussy cut this out if you hate doing that, you could use a label die or punch or just cut it straight. But I think I'll just do a little cutting, and you can get as close or as far away, depending on how precise you want to be. And you kind of move the paper as opposed to the scissors if possible. Okay. All right. That's it. So 'tis the season. And I love this sentiment for tags. Perfect for tags. And then I'm just going to put this on with dimensionals. I'm not going to add any gems to these. This suite doesn't come with gems. If you've got something that matches, you can add it. But with the shiny gold, I don't even think it really needs it. So the other parts of this suite, which I forgot to mention earlier, is it comes with a set of twine. So this is called, I think, black and white and gold twine. So you get 2 spools. And so one obviously is white and gold and one is black and gold. And if you cut about 10 inches, and I found this trim a little slippery. So you'll have to make sure you have good knots when you tie it together. But I am going to take it, fold it in half, put my 2 ends in through the back, loop them through, and then pull. And then on the front, that's the way I like to do it, where you see the little knot there. And then I would like to also tie a knot at top. So I'll just kind of wrap that around and then tie a knot. And then you have your little gift tag. And then if you just want to trim off your ends, you can trim off your ends like so. So that is the first one. The second one, let's do the star. So again, let's punch our hole. And then keeping in mind, this pattern can go any way, but this one is not going to look good sideways. So we'll punch our hole first. And then this time I've already gone ahead and done all the pieces, so we can just assemble it. So I've heat embossed this cute little tree in gold on white. And so we will just put this on dimensionals. And we'll just pile those on. And then when we're done the 3, I like to know what your favorite one is. I always try to get people to tell me their favorites, and nobody ever picks. Everyone just says all of them, which is fun. That's good too. And then for the star, like I showed you earlier, this is just from the die cut right out in gold foil. And I am going to just add a glue dot. A good Christmas staple to have if you're crafting is gold foil. So Stampin' Up sells it in 12 by 12 sheets. You get 2 sheets, which will last you for the season for sure. And then I just put a glue dot at the top of the tree. And then we'll put our little star on the top. And now for our sentiment, I wanted to do this one here. So I already stamped it, wishing you peace and joy. And I have done it in gold on black. And I'm just going to cut this out straight. One thing I'll mention is, so I was taking photos of this for my blog, and the gold on the black does not show up very well on photos. So I tried all sorts of lightning trying to figure it out. But in person, I promise you, it looks shiny and really nice. So it's a nice contrast, the gold on the black. And then I just wanted to show, so I've cut this out, not very straight, mind you. Okay. And I'm going to trim off this end, and then I'm actually going to snip it in half. Wishing you and peace and joy. You could keep it long if you wanted, but I wanted to kind of like put mine staggered like this. So I'm actually going to grab mini black dimensionals. We do sell black dimensionals, and they come in the full size and the minis in the same package. And then it just helps the dimensional to kind of disappear behind the cardstock is essentially why you would do that. And then I'm going to put the other end in a glue dot. I don't think that came off. There we go. Take the backing off. And we'll just stagger them up. And then we would put our little thread through just like before, and there's our second tag. So just to save some time, I'm not going to do the thread, but I just did all three identical to the first one. All right, for the last one, the fa la la la, I love this one. Oh, I put this on the wrong one. Yep, totally did the wrong one. Well, we're gonna see how it looks different. This one, we're gonna do the star. I don't know if I like it on this one. I'm gonna see if I can peel this off. After all that, where I said, I've chose all my patterns carefully, and then I like promptly put everything. You know what? It's gonna have to be. Okay, I meant for the star to go on this one and the tree to go on the fa la la, but I think that this will work too. So I've gone ahead and cut out the star in gold foil. Goodness. I think it's the process of talking while you're crafting is always tricky, right? Like when on my classes, if you're talking a lot, then usually your projects are happening a lot slower, which is okay because it's half the fun is definitely the chit chat, but it's like hard to focus. All right. So I've done a full-size dimensional and then minis. They fit just perfect kind of around the star so that all the tips of the star will be secure. And I think it looks the best points directly up and down. And then I did the Be Jolly. And this time I did it heat emboss white on black. I fussy cut it out. And you can see that this one's a little bit smaller. So it looks a little bit different. And I'm going to put a dimensional right on the back of that. And I've got a full-size black one here. And I'm just going to center it. So now this kind of looks black on black, but I think it'll work. And then those are 3 cute tags. Let's show you the other ones that I did. Pretending like I put them on the right paper. It all looks good, right? But this is kind of how I intended it to be. So those are the 3 tags. So those are fun. So now we're going to step up this tag idea by making a tag that technically could also be an ornament, because the other part of this suite are these awesome large gold hoops, which we've had at different times before. And then if there was a kit last year, it might actually be available again, a Christmas tags kit. So this is kind of a similar idea. It is about 3.5 inches in diameter. So pretty. So we're going to make a tag out of this. So the first thing we're going to do is create a frame for it. And I've something to hold the paper onto. And I think about 15 inches of twine is going to be good. And so we're going to want to tie a knot on one end. So kind of get your thread even. Okay. See if I remember how I did this. And then we're going to tie a knot directly opposite. So the tricky part will be for me to hold this straight on camera, but I'm going to tie. So that one's just a single knot. That'll stay pretty good. This one's going to have to be a double to keep it in place. So I might be too slippery on the glass mat for me to hold everything. Let's see how it goes. We'll see how it goes. Okay, so I'm going to try to hold everything. Just bear with me. Okay, so I think I've got my knot. A little added, just make sure it's straight across your circle. You could tuck a little glue dot in there. So I'm just going to grab one with my take your pick tool, kind of like fold it over and stuff. And then you could kind of stick it in there, or you could have done that first too. And I'm just going to tuck it in, and then hopefully it'll keep your knot in place so it's not slipping around so much. Okay. And then you could tie a bow. Come on. I can't grab the right string. You could tie a bow at top, or I'm just going to do what I did before and just kind of knot the ends together. Okay, so that's the basis of it. And then you want to cut out 2 circles. So using that nice circle shape that we've got from the dies, and I've cut out from the star, makes an awesome background. And I'm going to use my Seal Plus just for extra adhesion. And I'm going to cover the back of one of them with adhesive. And I think it's good to use a pattern that, like, there's no right or wrong way for it to look. So it's good. You don't have to worry so much about it lining up. And then I'm going to set this in there so that I have it nice and even all the way around. And I'm just going to stick my string into it like so. So hopefully that's pretty centered. And then I'm going to grab my second circle. And we're going to match it up. Okay, so then when you have it, then it kind of will spin a little bit on you, which is kind of fun. And now we're going to put a 3D element onto the front. Because why not? This is what I was thinking why it could be like a little ornament. So I've gone ahead and cut out 3 of this tree shape. It is pretty symmetrical, which is good because we need a shape that's symmetrical. Some years there have been trees that they're actually not symmetrical on both sides. And so that's kind of always frustrated me because you can't do stuff like this. So I've got 3 out of that striped pattern. I'm going to grab my paper trimmer to use the scoring tool, and I'm going to score each tree in half. And just make sure it's got a good crease in there. And if you wanted this effect on both sides of your little ornament, so if you want it to be an ornament, you could do 2 of these and put 1 on each side. I'm just going to do the front side, and then it's kind of like a tag. Okay, and then I'm going to fold it in half. It's good to have your bone folder to get a nice crisp fold. So let's do all 3. You do kind of want it to be perfectly in half, so sometimes it needs a little coaxing there. Oops. And the last guy. All right, and then we're going to attach these together. And if you wanted to make it thicker, I guess you could just keep going and put lots of trees together. I'm just going to do the 3. And so I'm just going to use Seal, but if you prefer like liquid multi-purpose glue, you could use that too. I just find the Seal easier and less messy. So I've got the 1/2, and then I'm going to stack on the next guy. Open it up here, just get it lined up. Okay, so it looks like that. Now we're going to put a little adhesive on this one. And add the 3rd tree. Okay, so now it should look like that on the back with that, like this. So it looks like a little 3D tree. And then you can go ahead and put your adhesive on the back 2 pieces. Okay. And we'll center that onto our tag and fluff our tree up. Give it a little flipping. And then for the sentiment, I heat embossed "'Tis the Season" again because I love the way it looked. So gold on black cardstock. And then I was trying to think of a way, like I wanted it centered. And so what I ended up doing is taking 2 mini black dimensionals and just kind of putting them here on the tree. You can see like that. And peel backings and then putting the sentiment there. And then it's still got that dimensional look with the sentiment in the center because I think you want that. I think I might put a glue dot on the bottom one too, just so that holds in place a bit better. But isn't that cute? Look at the right lighting in here. I think that would look so amazing on a gift box, all decorated up for Christmas. And then, like I said, if you wanted to make it both sides, you could definitely do one on the back side as well. So that's how we can step up our little tag idea using the gold hoops. And now finally we've got to make a card, right? We are card makers. So this one is not too hard and just an easy layout that I think that you could recreate pretty easily on your own. So I'm just going to use a basic white, thick basic white card base. So 5.5 by 8.5, scored in half at 4.25, and I'm going to do it the landscape way like this. And then choose 2 patterns of the DSP that you like that go together. So I'm using one with a more white background and then one with the more black. And so this is obviously is the cute trees. And so this is cut to full length of the card. So 5.5 by 4. And I'll just put this on seal. So it's got a little, it goes edge to edge, but then you've got a little border on the top and the bottom. And then just to make this piece pop, I'm going to mat it on a piece of basic black cardstock just to separate it out a bit. So this one is 5.5 by 2.5. And I'm putting it on basic black that is 5.5 by 2.75. And I'm not doing a very good job of centering that today. Let's see. I am going to center it. Or maybe not, more or less. Okay, and then we will put this on the card. So this is a fun layout that you could really recreate with any of your favorite patterns from the new paper. And do you have a new favorite paper yet? The Traditions of Christmas is nice because it's got that gold too, but all your traditional colors worked in there, the red and green. Okay, so that's the basic layout, and then we're going to create a center. So the star of the show is the big ornament. And I wanted to do one because I wanted to show you how that Merry Christmas fits perfectly on that circle. So again, heat embossed it in gold on basic black, just cut it out with that circle. And now, but we need to turn it into an ornament. And so we're going to use the gold foil. And so I use the dies, of course, the ornament topper, cut that out in gold foil. This time I don't have the sticky on the back, so I'm just going to use glue dots. And I'm going to run kind of 3 and then center that hopefully on the top. And then our just plain circle instantly looks like an ornament. I love it, so cute. And that's all we're going to do. Oh, we're going to put a little string on it. I forgot. So I'm going to cut a little bit of that black twine. And let's grab our glue dots again. Let's get rid of that excess. And I'm going to put each end into a glue dot. And we're going to make a little loop on the top. I could have used an even shorter piece. You just need a couple inches, really. Okay, I need to see it in the front. It's all sticking to me in the wrong places. Come on. So about like that, and then I'm going to use a couple more glue dots to kind of get the shape that I want. Just so the loop stays in place. Okay, so it should just look like that peeking out from the back. All right, now let's put this on with dimensionals. I'm going to just stick with my black ones because I've got some here. And just use up all the edges. Is it already cut in? Okay, and we'll add these. So this card, I'm obviously doing ornaments, but I was thinking it would also just look good with the trees. So if you wanted to create a little row of the trees for a different look, that would also look good. So we're going to center this right into our card, keeping in mind the top of the loop. We don't want it to stick off the top too much. And then I thought it would be fun to cut out from this DSP. I mean, it's perfect for adding little ornaments, right? So you can just fussy cut them right out of the DSP. And then you've got another way to have some shine on the card and stick with that ornament theme. So I'm going to cut out one round one. Woo! And I'm going to do one long one. I think this one with the tree. But they're all kind of uniquely designed, which is fun. Or this one with the stripes would look good. That's what I did on my original one. Well, let's try this guy. And you can go right up to the edge or leave a little border. Fussy cutting it, just whatever you want. And just remember this handmade. People are not looking too closely at how perfect of a cutter you are. They just like the effort and the way it all looks together. Okay, so I picked two ornaments and then I'm just going to stick them on so that they're kind of level. So I will use a mix of seal and dimensionals. So I'm going to put this guy up here and this one on the other side. Maybe take those off. Just like so. And that is our card. So fun. Let me show you the original just to show you two different ornament. Like you can see I cut out the different ornaments. So there's lots of different styles and they all look great. All right, clear off the mess a little bit. Just sweep it to the side. And there is our card. And then we've got our fancy little stepped up ornament or gift tag. And then our set of 3 tags as well. All right. Well, I hope that you fell in love with this suite a little bit like I have. It's so pretty and so much fun to create with. And I think the bundle is going to be one that I hang on to for a long time. So I hope you like these projects, gave you some inspiration. Don't forget, if you want to get crafting, you can take part in any of my classes or sign up for my email list to see what's coming up in the future. So I've got my launch party. It ends today. I'm trying to get my words out. Sign up ends today. My Stamp and Create class, where we're making that awesome little gift box. That sign up is until the 20th. And then next month it's on to Stamp a Stack, and we're just going to keep barreling through the Christmas card making season, and it's going to be so much fun. So I hope that you enjoyed this and that you will join me next week for some more fun projects here on YouTube. You can always find me on my website, loritamariecrafts.ca, or over on Facebook or Instagram. All right, thanks guys. Take care.